In this video, I'm going to take iconic details from 4 favorite video games and recreate them with Lego bricks, and then I'm going to give each one a special mechanism or function to make them even cooler. Also, there's a hidden Mario somewhere in this video, so comment if you found him. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 different models, each for a different game, starting with Raft, which, as it sounds, is about a raft.
Let me try the boat.
First, we need to build a custom minifigure so we have a player. There are multiple players to choose from, but I went with this one named Rohi, and got out my limited collection of minifigure parts. We can use these light blue pants as Rohi's shorts, and this Explorer's torso from Minifigure Series 19 works well as his button-down shirt. Plus, the rope across his front is like the rope Rohi has in the game. It took a bit, but I eventually found this hairpiece that works perfectly, which leaves us with just the head. I only have one medium nougat head, and it's definitely not going to work, but this Lightyear set has a head that would work perfectly. Target run. Here it is, boys. The bag has been secured. Here's the perfect head. It's kind of crazy, I just bought a $50 Lego set for just a single minifigure head, so of course I had to build it. Flight test! Literally only 2 pieces broke off. And now we can complete our Rohi minifigure. As for the build, I want to create this raft design from the starting screen and then add the iconic shark named Bruce with a mechanism that makes it swim in circles around the raft. And I also want to add a way for our minifigure to launch a hook into the water, just like you can in the game. We can start with a bunch of 6x6 plates for the raft base, and then start building the surface with a bunch of tiles and plates. Then I added this grassy garden area on one side with a bunch of these flower pieces and plant stalks. Okay, to prepare for the shark swimming underneath the raft, I switched out one of the plates for a 2x4 tile with holes in it, so that I can run an axle through it later. Now I want to add a roof to this white canopy here. I was going to use these pieces, but the leaves have the wrong angled clip. But then I remembered I could use some of these claw pieces so they would angle the right way. I also want to add a palm tree to the build, so I utilized the same technique that the loop coaster uses, which I built during the 24-hour live stream. The video is linked below. I made the tree taller and added a dead leaf because I literally have never seen a palm tree in real life without at least one dead bunch of leaves. I also want to add a second-story platform at the back using more of the plates. So I added a garden at the back, this white fence, and a gate. Up top, I added this wooden box, a green wall, some fence posts in this cool blue color, and a steering wheel. I don't have Lego's official piece, so I made my own using these studs with bars and some round plates. To finish up, I added some tan bricks underneath the raft to act as the plastic tanks that make it flow in-game. Okay, now that we have the raft finished, we can start on the mechanical function of the model. These are bevel gears, and I can use them to mount the motor under the second-story platform and turn this axle. I want the shark to swim around the sides of the raft, but because it will be held up by some sort of beam connecting the shark to the axle, I can't have support beams to hold up the raft. I tried using these half-pipe pieces to make it work, but it made the raft spin as well, which looks really funny, but we don't want Rohi getting too dizzy. Then I built some clear pillars for each corner and made it so the shark swims directly under the raft. It's not ideal, but it'll work.
It's so fast.
To finish off the set, I want to make a hook launcher that the minifigure Rohi can activate, just like in the game. If we use this stud shooter piece with a Lego string and some studs with holes, all we need to do is add a hook. So I have this little hook piece I need, but I have no idea where I put it. I feel like it's in the minifigure drawer, but I just have no clue. There we go. Then, if I add a 1x1 tile to Rohi's hand and press down, it'll launch the hook. Okay, so I've completed one of the 2 games, but before we start the final one, here's some bonus games. You can make a simple Wordle by using 2x2 jumper plates and some 1x1 tiles in gray, yellow, and green. And here's a simple way to make Tetris. Take some large plates, add a layer of blue around the edge, and then you can fill it in with a bunch of 1x1 tiles of different colors. I also added this little box on the side to show what piece is coming next. Now I want to try to build some iconic Google games. You can build Minesweeper with a green base plate, some tan tiles, and these pieces for red flags, and then a bunch of multicolored 1x1 plates to show if you lost the game. I also added the menu bar at the top to add detail using some green plates and white tiles to represent the buttons and numbers. And here's a simple design to make Snake, the game that everyone plays during a math lesson. We can use blue tiles to make the snake as long as we want, these clip pieces to hold in real Lego apples, and then add some details on the top. I spent way too long for this clip, but I finally beat it. Yes, it was on slow mode. Yes, it was the smallest map, and yes, it was 5 fruit. But I beat it. And of course, I couldn't leave out Pac-Man. I used some large black plates and dark blue bricks to form the maze, and then used 2x2 jumper plates to add the spots for the yellow studs to go. And somehow I picked out the perfect amount of yellow studs. Then we can add our Pac-Man and the green ghost. The next game I want to create is Flappy Bird. I want to use these treads to make the pipes and background scroll by like my driving and flight simulator, and the LEGO NES has the perfect parts inside. Drop test!
Huh? That's sturdy.
Once I got the treads out of the center of the NES, I took off all the tiles and plates and figured out how wide to make the Flappy Bird game. Then I put back the plate assemblies after taking off all the tiles from the Mario game. Okay, I want to create the Flappy Bird look starting at the bottom with this layer of tan and then adding a layer of alternating green and light green tiles. In order to make this work like the NES, we need a layer of tiles sticking out further than the rest so that the Flappy Bird has a guide. I'm going to lay down a layer of clouds using a bunch of slopes and round tiles, and then go back through and raise them all up a layer so that the Flappy Bird will have a guide in order to go up and down. I also marked out where each green tube was going to be and laid down a bunch of light blue tiles for the sky. Okay, now that we have the background finished, I need to add the tubes. I could use normal green, but I decided to use these 2D Mario tube tiles. But I only have one of each, so I'm gonna have to order more. Okay, I just ordered 9 more of each and put it in priority mail, so hopefully it will get here fast. In the meantime, we can start building a base to hold the treads. I used some bevel gears and added a crank to the side and started building up the walls of the... Okay, now that the Mario tube tiles have arrived, we can add them. And man, that looks so good. Definitely worth it. I added some more walls, and then tried to figure out how to make the Flappy Bird run along the clouds. I can use the same design as the NES, but the piece they use is a bit too long, so I tried using other lengths of poles. The problem is that there's no other bar piece that has a stud like this, so the connection is really bad, and in order for it to fit this roundish behind it, we have to make the beam stick out way too far. In the end, I just resorted back to the original piece and made it stick out from a little from the side of the game. Then I finished up the walls, tiled it off, and now we have a working LEGO Flappy Bird game. Without a Flappy Bird. I printed and cut out a Flappy Bird image, and I didn't have a glue stick, so I just used a chapstick to stick it to the piece. It's enough to make 5-minute crafts proud. It's really cool, but now I want to try and motorize it. But in the process of adding a motor, I pulled out the axle, which made both of the gears inside fall off, which means I now have to take off the whole back and the top and some of the front apart just to try and fix it. And in the meantime, I realized that the axle I have is too long, which actually blocks the other axle from going down, and it's really complicated, but I just fixed it. So then I added this plate underneath the motor, and now we can test it out. That's actually really cool. Let's see if it can go full speed. Well, that's cool. Drop test. Okay, that's 2 working video game sets and a bunch of other game models, but I actually want to build one final model. I want to build a working Minecraft magma cube that actually separates into sections and then motorize it to actually jump up and down by itself. But you'll have to wait till my next video to see that, so subscribe!